Hello everyone, what's up, and welcome back to Apothecary Diaries episodes 9 and 10. I'm recording this at the last minute. This video is supposed to go up today, or at least today on Patreon. It's going up next week, obviously, on YouTube, which is a little bit of a hint that you can get next week's video of Apothecary Diaries on my Patreon account right now, so go check that out. But yeah, I'm recording this at the last minute. I've been so busy. Well, in fact, I'll tell you the reason. It's because I just finished playing Metaphor Refantasio yesterday, and I basically played it for like 10 to 12 hours straight to finish the game. Like, I was at the end of the game and I just like played it for a long time, and because of that I didn't have time to record it yesterday. So today I've got to record this, I got to record One Piece, I got to record Fate Zero. There's a lot of stuff, so I got a lot to get to, but I also have D&D tonight, so I don't know how I'm gonna fit everything in. Let's figure it out. Let's see if we can do these episodes first and then figure it out from there. Yeah, so Apothecary Diaries episodes 9 and 10. Last episode, or the last video, I remember she went to back to where she came from. Maomao went back to her father and spent some time there, and then came back and told Jinshi about it, and Jinshi was like, how'd you get there? And she went, oh, I went with this dude who gave me the hairpin or whatever, and I thought maybe the reward I could have offered him is better than any reward I could have offered you. And he's like, what do you mean by that? And she just like implied that she I don't think she purposefully did it, but she implied that she did the deed with him. and he's jealous. So let's jump into these episodes, checking them out. I'm really excited. I'm loving this show so far. I can't wait to watch more. Make sure to support the video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and go to my Patreon account if you want the full-length reactions, early access, and exclusive videos. If you want to make sure Apothecary Diaries stays on this channel and I continue doing it, make sure to comment down below. Share the video if you can, if you have any other people who like Apothecary Diary videos, or if you mention my name around when other people are talking about reaction channels or anything, I would really appreciate it. But let's jump into Apothecary Diaries. This is episode 9.
I'm not sure I can even finish my drink after seeing his sad face.
Okay, don't talk about it so loudly. I know he's drunk. He's probably not gonna... Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Thanks.
Who's that? Beautiful eyes.
You mustn't forget you still have responsibilities to see to.
I understand.
He doesn't understand. The Jinshi I know would never give in to such childish behavior.
He's pouting because he's jealous.
The Jinshi took considerable effort to get the details out of concubine Gyokyo, who was beside herself with laughter.
They weren't?
Aww.
As son, who knew that girl had such connections?
Okay, so he knows now.
Who knows what image
It was cleared up. That's
thing.
good.
Only to find she had left for home with another man. Must have been quite a shock for him. There are many bureaucrats trying to pass bills that benefit them personally.
Of course.
In turn, my master's workload continues to grow because of it. Truly a pity.
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
Such tragic news, I am at a loss.
Apparently, some big shot bit the dust.
Oh, he died?
Maybe I find it hard to feel anything for a person I've never met nor heard of.
I understand that.
He was a man past the age of... seems pretty open and shut.
Except...
If that was... But he wouldn't ask for the head lady in waiting to leave the room.
might have been poison, or...
Be honest. Do you think the alcohol's what really killed him?
Or they put more alcohol, like they spiked the drink more.
But Sir Conan could handle his alcohol. This death seemed far too sudden.
I mean, we know, we're the audience, we
Conan
saw
was the name of the man
someone
who
drop
died.
something in.
This is the same drink served at the party.
Real boo!
Sir Conan
It's
drank
technically
from.
poison, so she loves
Unfortunately, it was
it.
dropped on the floor and the contents were lost.
He's acting meek. Must realize he's asking for the impossible. Prefer dealing with his usually shiny self.
Really?
Oh, Master Jinshi has been behaving more like a child.
Every meal he took eventually became more like dessert.
That'll give you diabetes.
Do not spoil my nostalgia with reality. You're seriously having more?
I liked
Spicy
the
to sweet,
chibi
huh?
version of him.
There was rock salt, mooncakes, and dried meat.
Dried meat.
Will you be needing those too? As I've already mentioned, it's been shattered.
They'll be
Can you
fine.
get the pieces?
There's one thing I want you to look into.
I love the eyes in this show. The eyes are always so beautiful and expressive.
Excuse me.
Are you sure it's safe to lick that?
Unfortunately,
fine
there's no
with for her.
poison.
Unfortunately.
Because the jar contained so much salt, crystals were left behind when it dried.
So that was what someone dropped in. Huge
While
chunks
it's
of
essential
salt.
for the human body, taking into account how much he drank and the amount in the jug, I'd say this was the cause.
Damn.
Fine, but
Getting poisoned
the
by
man still should have
salt.
been able to tell if the flavor was off.
Sadly,
He was very
wasn't
drunk?
able. It seems at some point, Master Conan lost his ability to taste salt.
Ah. That
By all
makes
accounts,
sense.
With a personality that could only be described as stoic.
That's why you stopped liking the fancier stuff and just like sweet
But
stuff.
he lost both his wife and child to an epidemic.
Oh.
And those repressed emotions lead to disease.
So, who was responsible for putting the salt in the bottle?
That's a good question.
However much I want to help you solve
Feels
this,
like
it's
someone
not for
who
me to
had
say.
to have known that about him.
Although, maybe they placed salt in the drink to get back at them. A harmless prank in their mind that turned out to be deadly.
That's
If
true.
Master Conan continued drinking without issue, hoping he would notice.
So you're just trying to like make him
Gaoshun.
go,
Yes.
ugh, what's this? And then laugh at
Understood.
him. But instead he doesn't notice, he keeps drinking and then he dies.
I've practically named the culprit at this point, given the number of hints.
So she knows.
He looks like a regular person right now.
She keeps being
Guess he is human
surprised
after all.
when he's not being weird.
Your prize.
A bottle?
More
Sorry,
alcohol?
It's not the same kind as yesterday.
Then it's booze?
Drink it in public.
Yes! Thank you so much.
Oh, she's so excited. The voice actor's so good at jumping between the gremlin-y voice and the regular voice.
You know,
I'm not kissing your feet. If we're
drinking would be illegal until the age of 20. Well,
I'm begging you. Please, whatever you do, don't pass that pill.
we'll see. If that's something
He
I
likes
decide
seeing her
on my
squirm like that.
Master Jinshi!
Someone drowning?
Doctor!
Oh no.
Oh, I can't look.
You're a doctor.
Luckily for us, it's winter. She's still in good shape despite being a drowning.
Oh.
Can you look directly at her?
It's just a shame this is who they have in charge of autopsies.
Would you mind if I left this to you, little lady?
Oh my
Afraid
god.
not.
You seem rather comfortable around the dead.
I grew up around
She's
them.
kind of
The Pleasure
apathetic.
District is
to
only
most
one
stuff.
street away from lawless chaos.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's preventing you
Didn't
from
grow up in a
touching
great
corpses?
neighborhood.
It's because humans can become medicinal ingredients.
Given your natural curiosity, it's soon you'll be digging up entire graveyards.
That
you mustn't
makes
cross
sense.
That line.
What a rude response.
Doctor,
Bandages on one foot. Fingertips deep red.
there were no signs she was forced into the moat.
In short,
Interesting.
suicide.
What's your stance?
As far
I
as
can't
we
tell you
know.
if she took her own life. The rear palace perimeter is at least 4
I
times
feel
my
like just
height.
straight up drowning yourself
making it to the top
like
would be
that is
impossible.
hard to
In
do.
most cases,
But if it wasn't suicide, are you saying it's murder?
I don't have the answer to that.
She's just giving you the
But based on
information.
the evidence, when I examined her fingers, they were clearly bloodied and red. The thought would never cross my mind. I'd hate if somebody killed me too.
Me too.
I wouldn't be able to test any more drugs or poisons. It is not something I want, but there are malicious third parties out there who would wish to cause harm to other people.
Of course, we've seen it time and time again here. Oh, look at the 3D plant. Nice. Oh. Damn, man. It's like the series is taking a moment to show just how serious these situations we're seeing are. This is a beautiful insert song.
If you're tasked with executing me,
Oh.
could you make sure it is with poison?
Oh my god.
I assume it would probably fall on you to give the order.
Oh, that feels like a Chekhov's gun they're setting up.
I am but a lowly commoner. My life is easily taken away over the slightest error.
Yeah, she's being
I would
realistic.
never do that.
The culprit is Fong Ming.
Fong Ming. Okay.
She's Ah Duo's head lady in waiting.
Alright.
Concubine Artuo.
Okay, that feels like that's a good tease for next episode. Okay, wow, another great episode. I mean, this show is just consistently really, really good writing. I mean, this episode, towards the end, it really felt like the show decided to take a step back and show us what the show has been like so far and remind us like just how, I mean, like the show has never shied away from being dark, and it has been consistently very dark throughout the entire series, but they've also done such a great job at making the characters so colorful and full of life and interesting, and making the comedy so good that it's really entertaining to watch, like the dynamic and the characters going back and forth. And I mean, last episode mostly ending with just like a funny, like classic anime misunderstanding and laughter and Jinshi being jealous and pouty. Like it finished, like last episode finished kind of silly overall, you know. And then this episode, it's like the series was going, look, we've been showing you a lot of depth so far, but we want to make sure you realize like this is serious, you know. Like this series is really tackling how horrifying but also easy death can come, like just how much death there is around them, and how it's happening at the drop of a hat. It's happening constantly, and it's so simple. I mean, in this episode, like someone being poisoned with just someone dropping a bunch of salt into their drink is really scary, honestly. Like, because it's something that's so small, and we don't even know if it was, like, I think it was malicious, but I don't even know if the person necessarily intended to kill him. I think they did, but it's also possible, as they said, that it's just like, oh, practical joke. So it's like, drop some salt in his drink, and then hopefully he's gonna drink and go, oh, what is that, you know? But he didn't do that, so you drop some more salt in his drink, and then he's drinking it fine, and then they're like, oh my god, when's he gonna notice? And then you just keep dropping salt in his drink, and then one day he dies. Not one day, but after a while he dies because he had too much salt, and he just never noticed it was there. And it's just a very horrifying thing. I think it was intended to kill him, but it's like, it is possible that it didn't, and that is sad and scary. But yeah, anyway, I really find it interesting in these sorts of series and sort of like murder mystery type things when there's methods of killing that would have only worked on one person. Like, if you try that on anyone else, it doesn't work because they just taste the salt in there and they stop drinking it. But it's a method that particularly works on him and can kill that one man. I think that's always very interesting, because then it's also harder to track down. Like, she was able to, Maomao is smart and was able to pick up on it. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of professionals would have been able to. I'm not saying Maomao is like a super genius Sherlock Holmes figure that like no one else would have noticed that there was a lot of salt in here. I'm sure a lot of people would have. But like, just in terms of, you know, if you were just going, well, was this poisoned? Nope, it wasn't poisoned. All in a day's work, you know, he just drank too much alcohol. And I mean, especially, you know, in this time period, there's not going to be great methods of doing autopsies and great methods of, you know, it feels like a lot of the people around here don't have the expertise that Maomao does. Even the professionals don't quite have as much expertise as she does, so it would be difficult to figure out a lot of this shit. But for those end scenes to like really show how impactful death was, and then also just show like how vulnerable of a position Maomao is in. It's like she's trying to get Jinshi to understand, like, look, you and I are talking, we're like going back and forth, we're, you know, having these fun conversations or whatever, but you have to remember, like, you are in a position of privilege in being like high ranking and also being a man. That helps a lot as well. You are in this like very, very privileged position where you are not constantly worried about your life. For me, I am constantly watching people around me at the same level as I am make the tiniest mistake and get killed for it immediately. And if that time comes, you cannot stop that. You will not be able to stop that. All you'll be able to do maybe is change the way that I die. So I'm telling you, if that time does come, like, this is what I would prefer. I would prefer to be killed by poison. And that's really sad, because then Jinshi's looking at that and, like, he's still... I mean, it feels like Jinshi, he's a very intelligent person, but he's not fully aware of, like, how horrible it can be for those of lower status than him. And he keeps being basically told by Maomao, like, this is how it is for us, this is how we live. And he has to, like, realize all of these atrocities, because I mean, the higher up you are, the more you're going to be shielded from how horrible that stuff is. Like, they're going to, you know, like, people, the funny thing is, like, servants and stuff can't complain to him about the fact that they could be killed for speaking out, because that would be speaking out, and they might be killed for speaking out about speaking out. So, like, so everyone will just be very polite and accommodating to him, and he would be kind of none the wiser. But yeah, so I that end scene was really, really interesting and sad and scary. But yeah, just like this series is hitting those dark moments really, really perfectly. And I love it. I really, really do. And I love, man, I feel like I'm gonna gush about this so much, but I love Maomao's voice actor so much. Like, the way in which these lines are being delivered, the like contrast between like the funny gremlin-y type stuff and like the simple deadpan humor, and then also just those serious moments, just they work so well for me. They work so well. I love it. All right, let's move on to the next episode, which might be based around our duo and our duo's ladies in waiting and stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's learn more about more concubines, please. This is Apothecary Diaries, episode 10. Here we go. Showing those eyes again.
At 35, concubine Adwo is 1 year older than the Emperor.
Okay.
If Lady Li Hua fails to bear another child, she'll probably suffer the same fate. There's
so
no guarantee
sad.
that Lady Gyokyo and those unable to bear fruit no longer serve a purpose.
It's so depressing.
Sorry, I've got to run.
Before you go, take this with you. Leftovers from yesterday's tea party.
Aww.
Thank you. Finish, huh? Those tea parties are so grand.
It's all about feeling each other out. Is this just part of being a woman? Perpetually suspicious of the same sex? They seem more on edge than when the
maybe.
Emperor visits. Watching Lady Gyokyo tease out information through genial chatter. She's definitely worthy of her title.
I love Gyokyo.
I heard she sends the information she... That's the taster from the garden party.
She's
Glad it looks like she hasn't been treated too
pale
harshly.
looking at Maomao. Scared of
Still
her.
thinks I'm gonna bite her head off.
Yeah.
That said, it doesn't seem like they're actively harassing her either.
Yeah, right now they're
It'd be
wearing
less
like
than
clothes
ideal
and
if my
matching and
report to
stuff.
Master Gaoshun was wrong.
The drink is made from orange peels boiled in honey. It should warm you right up.
Damn.
I hope you like it.
Oh, what's wrong? Are you allergic to oranges or
She can't handle honey either.
honey?
What sort of guest turns down the hostess's food?
Oh.
Indeed.
Lady Gyokyo.
It's poisoned.
I believe this needs to be stewed
Yeah,
longer.
that's a good way to get her out
Let's
of
find you
it.
something else.
That's a good way to get
How
out of
about...
That will be fine.
it. These fucking
It seems I wasn't
ladies in
wrong about the
waiting.
bullying.
They wanted to see her struggle through that.
Boing.
Leave the cleaning up entirely to us.
That's right. You need to go and get your rest.
Everyone that was present had an enjoyable time.
I am far from being done with you.
Funny, more than done with you.
Did you hear that it was carried out by the Garnet Pavilion servant who drowned in the moat?
She did hear that
I am
rumor.
aware of all the rumors.
On that note, can you help at the Garnet Pavilion starting tomorrow?
How polite. Making it sound as if I have any say in the matter. The Garnet Pavilion, home to concubine Adul, is practical and simple with a polishing class to it.
Cool.
My apologies for summoning you so suddenly.
Feng
For
Ming.
the next few days.
Jinshi didn't give specific instructions. I suppose I'm to do chores?
This is the head lady in waiting that we saw at the end of last episode.
Ming, who are they?
Feng Ming.
She has an androgynous, gallant kind of beauty.
Yeah.
Is she really 35? Dressed
Absolutely
differently,
beautiful.
She would look more at home in a riding outfit instead of her skirt and dress.
True. Yeah, I do like the androgynous design. Very nice.
Those are intense stares.
Sort of person who's pretty to men and women.
If you could be so kind, I would like you to air these books out.
Oh, you
can
noticed
ask
the burn?
palace
Well,
eunuchs
the
to handle
burn
the
marks covered
heavier
up.
items.
Similar to the Jade Pavilion, the servants here are hard workers. There are a few idiots who could learn a thing or two from them.
You've done this much already?
She's a good
I
hard
recognize
worker.
a hard worker when I see one.
And
Would
people
you
don't
mind
let her
helping
do
us
hard
out in
work.
the parlor as well.
He's friendly, observant, and praises others freely.
That's good.
I haven't done that much physical labor in a
Yeah, because
long
they don't let you help a lot of the time.
What smells sweet?
I insist
Okay.
you use this. It'll be cold tonight.
Is it
I'm so
honey
grateful.
related?
Hope you sleep well.
I'm nervous. I don't know why, but they're giving me vibes.
Master Jinshi didn't tell me to do anything specific.
Look at her hair.
All the same.
She's so cute.
But what if a vacancy opened elsewhere first? The Emperor is only interested in
interesting.
ripened fruit. He hasn't paid a visit to Lady Lishu yet. Which is
mean,
fine,
yeah.
considering the girl's only 14.
I was about to say.
It wouldn't be out of the question to target Lady Lishu.
That's
Can someone help
true.
me out here?
It's honey.
More
Jars
honey.
are all from...
That must have been the sweet smell from
It
last
was
night.
honey. Thought so.
Why is she at the Garnet Pavilion?
Oh no.
Back at our tea party.
She can't do honey. And you've got a lot of
That's what
honey.
transpired at the Garnet Pavilion. That's all. There's no and or but.
He wants to know your
I don't know
thoughts
what
on
he's
it.
expecting from me. I'm an apothecary, not a spy.
Among them could make contact with the outside using some special method. Guesses?
What a roundabout way of asking.
She doesn't want to guess.
Only I noticed she had bandages wrapped around her left wrist. Then
Wow.
there were the colored text.
You noticed what it took
They were found
the other
wrapped
guy
in a
2
woman's
months to
dress
notice?
with Given the way he's lapping up that honey, he must have already suspected her.
Yep. He was just waiting to see if you had those same thoughts
This is
without
for
the
you.
preconceptions.
Good girl should be rewarded.
Oh my god, dude.
I must decline!
That's such a
So
disgusting way to phrase that.
Offer it to someone who wants your fingers in their mouth! Master Gaoshun!
He's looking away.
Laxatives in your food later!
Sweets,
I prefer
That's
spicy.
great.
but you eat this, hmm?
Damn it. Why up? I'd kick him in the groin. Oh wait, there's nothing there too.
You just gotta take it.
Why couldn't it be a bowl of aconite soup instead?
It's honey.
The jars are all from an apiary, lady.
So that's why.
What?
To my lady in waiting?
Yes! Kyokyo.
Yokyo!
Who gave you any authority to harass her?
Yes, Kyokyo! I love you! Oh my god,
Maomao,
she's my
This was
fave.
simply a...
Since it was nothing but harmless fun, next time you can do the licking for me.
Licking? That's...
I remember you from the garden party. How can I assist you?
Now she's warmer to her.
Are you not fond of honey?
Mm-hmm.
It's not uncommon for someone to get food poisoning and have trouble eating it later.
Yeah.
What gives you the right to ask the consort such probing questions?
They don't like that.
Say the ladies in waiting who didn't protect her at the tea
Yeah.
party.
The fact that she's being so rude to the virtuous consort alone gives us
No, you
every
guys
right to have her
just
expelled.
want her to continue
So
to
that's
be
how
able
they
to
pretend
continue
they're her
tormenting
only
her.
allies. By taking
Yeah.
any out. Shame on all of you, trying to deceive a naive girl.
Aww. I feel really bad for
She's
Lishu.
an isolated concubine. But if you have any objections, you should take them up with Master Jinshi.
Wait, she directly?
Oh my
He owes me
god.
this much at the very least. Are you familiar with Lady Fengming?
Mm-hmm.
Head lady in waiting at the Garnet Pavilion.
Ooh. That got a reaction.
What did she figure out this time?
I like
There's no
Gao
denying she's smart, especially for a 17-year-old.
But it's surprising a man that lustful only had one concubine back then. 16 years ago, the baby died. It was delivered by...
Lung? What's the name?
a former palace eunuch with a bone removed from
Oh.
one knee.
Shit.
What were you doing, Father?
Oh my god, what? I didn't expect that. What? Oh, we did get a tease of that or something. He gave like a look or something in one of the, or said something in earlier episode. Okay, another good episode there. Yeah, wow. So her father's actually has more involvement in the story than I originally thought, which makes sense because in that previous episode, I forgot exactly what he said, but there was something like she mentioned something about the palace, and he was like, "Oh, like really? Wow, that's you ended up there, huh?" Or something along those lines. Like he said it in such a way that implied like there was some connection to the palace that he had or that she had or something. But yeah, so that makes sense. And I like that they even said like that he's overqualified to be an apothecary for a pleasure district. Like that it's crazy how good of an apothecary he was for the position that he was in. So it makes sense that, oh, that's really cool little twist there. So yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying the way that this is playing out. It's really cool because this series, at first, it seemed like, okay, this is a sort of monster of the week, quote unquote, type show, right? That's what it felt like. Is an episodic show where every episode is like a new mystery that they solve by the end of the episode or whatever. And that's kind of what I thought the show was going to be, which I think I talked about in early videos, where it's like, generally that's like, I prefer those shows less to serialized shows that have a continuing storyline throughout it. But I was like, but this show, I feel like it's going to have more of an overarching story, and there feels like there's still like a consistency to it, and also it's like a really good concept that really works for it. But as the show has gone on now, I'm seeing it's not really that. It's not really an episodic show. There are individual mysteries that pop up here and there. But they very often like constantly weaving into this extended narrative. And like, it's not like a lot of these we haven't fully solved. We haven't actually gotten all of the answers yet. And they just move past it, you know? Like, they're not actively looking for some of these answers. They come up with theories, and then they're like, well, we don't know. And then they keep going. And then later in the series, we find out, you know, exactly how that stuff played out. And like, as a writing decision and as a way to keep you engaged in this series, that's a great decision, because it makes the show feel more natural. It makes it more interesting. It gives you like a chance to put clues in a bunch of different places. And also, I mean, a big thing in like murder mystery type things, and I'm saying murder mystery because that's the closest thing to like what this sort of genre is. A big thing in those sorts of mystery stories is like you start to pick up on the format a lot, you know, like how people talk about in Law and Order. It's like, oh, it's always the second person that they talk to, or something along those lines, you know, or the most famous person, right? So if you get like Bryan Cranston as in an episode as like a random, I don't have any real examples because I don't watch Law and Order. I'm just talking about what people say about Law and Order. But if you have like Bryan Cranston and he's like a dock worker and he's carrying some boxes or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck? That's Bryan Cranston. Then it's like, well, he's gonna be the killer because they want him to be the one giving the cool monologues at the end or whatever. So like, if they're gonna hire him, they're gonna get him to do something really cool. So it like, you know, you start to pick up on the format of it. And so it's like, because a mystery generally has to go like, all right, I'm going to put the clues in this part of the episode so that it'll be satisfying when it reaches this part of the episode. Because of that, the more you watch, the more you start to go like, okay, well, it's going to be like either this person or this person, or like, okay, the twist is probably going to be this. But if you have it not be episodic, if you have these mysteries be like over a longer period of time, you can't really pick up on that format anymore because you can constantly change where you're putting the clues. And you can be putting a clue that you think is for one of the mysteries and is actually for another one. I think that's a lot of fun. So that works really nicely for this series. I like it a lot. The character dynamics in this show are just so good. And I'm really interested in like stuff that I didn't think I'd be interested in. Like I didn't think I'd be interested in like the politics of the concubines, you know? But they write it in really interesting and engaging ways. And I like, you know, like I feel very different things for a lot of the different concubines and for how things happen between them. And like I feel really bad for Lady Lishu, for example, who is you know, who's constantly being like bullied by her ladies in waiting, but then the bullies are essentially making her feel like, well, we're not the bullies because they are the ones the voices that she has around her at all times. So they constantly tell her like, oh, you should wear this dress, you know, you'll look so good in this dress. And then she wears that dress and everyone's like, what the hell is that dress? Because they're purposefully making her look bad. And then those ladies in waiting can be like, oh yeah, Lishu, they're being so horrible. Like they're such horrible people. Like everyone hates you here. I don't know why everyone hates you here. And then they behind her back go, and we hate you too. But really, it's like it's because of you that a lot of this stuff is happening. And so like you basically continually isolate this girl over and over again. You bully her, and then you make it feel like everyone else is bullying her, and then you put her in situations where she is being bullied by other people as well. It's really, really horrible. So she's in a horrible situation, and I love that Maomao is noticing it and is doing little things to help her out. Like I really liked the scene of like hey, we're pouring, you know, you pour her some honey in this drink, and it's like that was for Gyoko, that's supposed to be like a really nice, a very sweet thing to do for Lishu, where it's like, oh, you like sweet things? I'm gonna give you like this really incredible drink, like this drink that's really well valued, and it's very sweet and very good. And she gives it to her. Maomao sees the look on her face, and then I love that Maomao's like, okay, well clearly there's something with honey, like she can't have honey for one reason or another. So instead Maomao does the tasting and then like looks at Gyoko and goes, mm-mm. And I think Gyoko knows, like I think she sees Maomao do that. And like Gyoko could have been like, oh, what's wrong with it? Is like she could have like pressed further, but I think she kind of just saw on Maomao's face that like, hey, your guest isn't super keen on this. And the problem is like Lishu, it's kind of rude to speak up, right? So she has to like And this is where I would be horrible because I am genuinely a picky eater. It seems like Lishu isn't really as much of a picky eater as people pretend she is. So maybe she is a bit of a picky eater, but it seems like there's things she genuinely cannot have. Like they're either allergies or whatever else, you know. There are things that she cannot have, but people just think of it as, oh, she's being such a picky eater, you know. But me, I'm just genuinely a picky eater. I don't have allergies that I know of, at least. But I'm just my taste buds just suck. So I just don't like so much stuff. And so for me in these situations, like, I don't know what the fuck I'd do, you know, because I'd be constantly turning people down. I'd get executed on day 2. But Lishu has to like suck it up and put up with it. And so like I very much empathize with her when she like looks at that thing, hears about that it's got something that she can't have in it, and just goes pale, just completely pale. But speaking of Gyokyo, I mean, that woman has a chance to be my favorite character in the show. I love Gyokyo so much. Constantly, every single episode, I'm loving her more. She's so sweet and like charismatic, and I love the way in this episode that she jumped to Maomao's defense when Jinshi was being, you know, a creep. Like I really loved all of that. That's so good. So yeah, and then that on top of in the last video when she's like laughing at Jinshi for being jealous and stuff. I love her so much. She might be my favorite character. It's hard to say because I love Maomao so much as well. So it's like between those two, but oh, they're so good. They're so good. Anyway, that's Apothecary Diaries, episodes 9 and 10. Thank you for joining me. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and go to my Patreon account for full-length early access and exclusive videos. I will see you next time. Goodbye.